What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report, and welcome back to a brand new video where we talk all things Miami Heat basketball. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Olympics, some Heat rumors, some news that's been going around about the Heat, all that good stuff, man. So make sure you guys stay tuned, drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, and comment down below your thoughts on my video. We are very close to 1K subscribers, and I'm so excited for the day where we hit 1K. It's going to be amazing. So make sure y'all smash that subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on post notifications so you guys do not miss a single video of mine. I really appreciate the support. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the Olympics first, because the Olympics is on my mind at the moment. So the reason I did not put a video out yesterday was because I wanted to wait for the Olympic Games to finish off. Today, as I'm recording this video, I'm recording this after the USA game. So the Nigeria game is going on right now while I'm recording. So I do not know the full details of what happens in the Nigeria game. I'm recording it as they're playing Australia right now. And Precious had a nice highlight. That's all I can tell you about that game, because I'm not really watching it. I was outside during the first part of the game, and I came back and started recording about the USA because I just watched the USA game. So we're gonna talk about the USA games. We're gonna talk about Bam specifically because this is a Heat channel, so we got to talk about Bam. We're gonna talk about the Nigeria game from yesterday against I think, who was it? They played Argentina. They beat them by like 20. So yeah, USA lost to Australia yesterday, but beat Argentina today. In the game against Australia, Bam Adebayo came off the bench. He did not start that game. I think this period that exhibition games that are going on, I think Greg Popovich is trying to experiment with the rotations, experiment with the lineups, and see which one works the best. Bam came off the bench against Australia, did not play as well as he probably would have liked to. I thought he had a solid game, but I thought he could have definitely played a lot better. 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists in 16 minutes were his final, stats. I do think he should have played a lot more minutes than he did, though. He only played 16 minutes. The rotations in that game were kind of weird. Don't know how Bradley Beal played 2 more minutes than Damian Lillard. Do not know how, Jason Tatum played 26 minutes and Bam Adebayo played only 16. I really thought that Bam was better than Tatum. I know Tatum outscored him by 2 points, but I do think overall in that game, I thought Bam had a better game than Tatum in that game. So the rotations were kind of weird, kind of messed up, but it was probably more experimentation than anything. I don't think the exhibition games mean the world to the U.S. A lot of people were going off that we lost against Australia and Nigeria, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. To lose 2 games in a row, if you're the U.S. basketball team, it's not a good look. But we got to keep in mind that it's only exhibition games, and I doubt that when the tournament comes out, it's not going to look like this. So, that's what I have to say about the U.S. versus Australia game. Obviously, on a U.S. basketball perspective, I do think this team lacks perimeter defense, which I think will be fixed with the additions of Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton once they come back from the finals. I do think they're going to have defensive presence on the perimeter, because right now we don't really have any perimeter defenses as far as the guards are concerned. And even when KD was switched on to Patty Mills, he was cooking him. So we don't really have that perimeter defensive presence. And sometimes, even when the bigs are switched out onto the guards, because Pop runs a switch everything lineup in the Olympics. I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but when it comes down to bigs like Bam and Draymond being switched out onto the opposing guards, sometimes the opposing bigs can get some very easy points. So that's what I had to say about the Australia game. Very disappointing loss for the US, but I do think they made up for it for tonight's performance versus Argentina, which they absolutely dominated that game. I think Bam probably had his best game so far. He got put in the starting role. 12 points on 6 for 13 shooting, almost 50% shooting, 5 assists, which led the team. He had a steal, a block, 5 rebounds, and 0 turnovers. Most importantly, his defense on Luis Scola was really nice. I thought he played amazing defense the whole game, man. I really thought he played really good defense, and I thought he used his tools to his advantages against these Olympic teams. A lot of these Olympic guys are not the most athletic. The overseas bigs especially. Even the players in general, they're not the most athletic, but they're very fundamentally sound. There are only a handful of teams that have athletes on their roster. USA being one, like Nigeria being another, that really have athletes that can jump out the gym and that can, you know, keep up as far as foot speed is concerned. Bam was going against 41-year-old Luis Scola. No disrespect to Luis Scola, he was a really good NBA role player, better and whatever he was, right? He's out of the league now, playing in Italy, and he just does not have the physical tools to keep up with Bam as far as a foot speed, athleticism race. Bam can win that any day of the week. When you're banging down low against big bodies like that, it's going to be harder, especially because Bam is undersized. But where Bam can use his advantage is his quickness and his mobility, and that's what he did tonight. He had a lot of breakaway dunks. He had a lot of, that alley-oop to start the game, really set the tone. And yeah, he really used his quickness to beat his defenders to the spot. And then once he did that, the other defenders had to help, and it really set him up for some of those assists that he got. So I thought he really used his tools to his advantage this game. So shout out to Bam. I thought he was one of USA's best players against Argentina. And then coming to Nigeria, as I said, do not really know what's going on in the Nigeria versus Australia game. But coming to the Argentina game, I really thought we saw Precious show his full arsenal. I thought Gabe, came back down to earth after that big performance versus the US, but still showed that he's capable of shooting the ball. KZ, his usual defensive presence was there. I think low-key, guys, KZ might be a top 3 defender on the Heat. I'm not even going to lie, because I think Bam is probably the best defender. But after that, it's a toss-up. KZ, Jimmy's obviously there, all defensive second team. But I think if you're looking at defensive tools, like KZ is a long, 6'10". He has ridiculous athleticism, wingspan. He can switch 1 through 5. He can guard anybody. I think KZ's defense is out of this world. That defensive potential right there, even if his offense doesn't pan out, at worst, he can be like a Derrick Jones Jr. type player for us. Because Derrick Jones Jr. was not the, most versatile offensively. Obviously, he could jump out the gym, but, as far as offensive skill set, he only shot 25% from 3 when he was playing with us. So I think KZ could be in that type of mold. But I do think if he develops a consistent shot and if he develops a consistent offensive game, I think he has a solid handle for his size. He can put the ball on the floor. He can definitely make plays. It's a shooting ability that has been inconsistent. He did hit a couple of threes in that game against Argentina, but it's going to have to be consistent. And I think whatever team KZ is on, whether he's using a trade or not, I think if a team can get the shooting form right and the shooting mechanics right and can make his shot more consistent, I think they have one of the best 3-and-D players, up and coming in the league set for the future. Because I think that's what KZ Okpala can be. So I think he really showed his arsenal. But Precious, man, really impressed me. I think Precious impressed me a lot. His ball handling, bringing the ball up. There was a play where he got the defensive rebound and he pushed the ball in transition, dribble past 3 Argentinian defenders and had an easy layup at the other end. So that just shows his versatility. Very Bam-like, ball handling ability for his size. He even shot the 3. It was the second 3 of the tournament that he shot. He shot the 3. He made the 3. And I think, it might be time for Spo to start giving him the green light, because his shooting form from the 3 does not look too bad. It's just free throws that are the mechanics on the free throws are a bit concerning, but I do think his 3-point mechanics are not bad whatsoever. I think the free throw mechanics, he probably shoots them really hard, but I think for the 3-point shot, I think his form is perfect for that. So I think Spo should think about letting Precious start shooting 3s or at least mid-range shots or something like that, because he's shown he has the ability to knock those down. Rebounding, catching lobs, everything. He finished with 12 points in 13 minutes with 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. He had an amazing game. I thought he played really well against Nigeria. So shout out to Precious. He's really developing, man. This is exactly what Precious needed. I think his rookie season was very it was a roller coaster of a season. He was in the rotation sometimes he was not in the rotation. There was a period where he was starting because Bam was out due to COVID or something like that. So Precious definitely had an up and down rookie season. But if you guys don't remember, when he was put in the starting role, he was averaging a double-double. I'm pretty sure the averages were 18 and 10 or 14 and 10 or something like that. When he was starting, he was playing really well. I think it was exactly like 15.1 and 10 rebounds or something like that. So he definitely has potential. I really do think that Precious can be a great player in this league, but it's just a matter of whether you want him on this team or whether you want to use him in a trade piece for, you know, a different guy. And some of the news updates that we have before I end the video, Shams, you guys all know who that is probably. He came out with a whole article about like different rumors going around the league. The one that had been linked with the Heat was John Collins is seeking a lot of attention, and the three teams that are very, very interested, four teams that are very, very interested are the Mavericks, the Spurs, the Heat, and the Timberwolves. So these four teams are probably the most interested for John Collins' services. Now, it also mentioned that John Collins is garnering a little bit more respect after his play in the playoffs. Obviously improved his defense. He was a big part in slowing down Julius Randle of the Knicks, and also a lot of teams are finally more willing to pay him closer to a max contract type of money, because that's the money he's going to be seeking. He did not write about Atlanta trying to, you know, match the offer or anything like that. So John Collins, though, is a player that the Heat are heavily interested in, and yeah, I think John Collins would be perfect on this team. I absolutely love the fit of him next to Bam, because I know that even if Bam is not shooting threes, you have a guy who can space the floor in John Collins. He was a 40% three-point shooter once upon a time, so he definitely has that in his arsenal. He has a very nice face-up game. I think he complements Bam really, really well. He may not be the best rim protector, but I think his defense, on-ball defense, has improved, and he has one of the best defenders next to him if he plays with Bam. So I think this fit would be amazing. Would I want to spend a max slot on him? Probably not, you know, but it might be something we have to do in order to take on his cap space, take on his salary to compete for a championship, because I think a front court of John Collins and Bam would be perfect for us. This should probably entail getting rid of Kendrick Nunn. We can make it work, and I'm not worried about the salary, but I'm not worried about the cap space, but it's the salary that we have to pay him. That's the main issue for me. I think he'd be productive on this team for sure, but you want to pay a guy like that a max contract? I don't know about that. So I think what the Heat have to do is outline what position they want to take care of first, whether it's the big position or whether it's the point guard position, because we have been linked with a lot of point guards, as I mentioned in a couple videos ago where I talked about the different point guard options we had. Those are the two main problems of this team. It's the point guard problem, and it's the front court partner next to Bam problem. Whether that front court partner is a center, a power forward, whoever that is, that has to be addressed, and obviously the point guard position has to be addressed as well. We did have some news about Colin Sexton. The Knicks are apparently the most interested team for Colin Sexton's services. They're talking about the 19th pick, the 21st pick, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, or was it Obi Toppin, something like that. And I mean, the Knicks could pull off a trade for Colin Sexton. I'd like that for their team, but Colin Sexton is garnering a lot of attention, and we have to make a move soon. Whether it's Colin Sexton or Kyle Lowry in free agency, something has to happen. Because if we get Kyle Lowry, it'll probably be similar to what John Collins is gonna, you know, request. I think Kyle Lowry will request about 25. John Collins might request about 30. So, and I don't think we have the space for two of them. I think it has to be one or the other, and the Heat have to figure out which one is their priority. Because if it's between Kyle Lowry and John Collins, I think they'll go with Kyle Lowry because he's a more win now ready type player. He's a very good friend of Jimmy's, and yeah, I do think that he fits the culture really nicely. I think John Collins is a nice player for the future. He's definitely not the finished article, but already he's shown that he's an all-star caliber player. But I think the Heat would roll with Kyle Lowry if they were given the choice. So they just have to figure out which position they want to solve first, and then they can prioritize John Collins over a point guard, or a point guard over John Collins, because I think John Collins is like the only power forward option. Someone in the comments, I forgot your name, so please forgive me, but I did remember your comment. They told me to make a video of top 10 or top whatever cheap free agent options for the Miami Heat. I will be making that video, so stay tuned for that, because I do want to make a video. I did make a video about 10 different free agents that the Miami Heat can look at, but none of those players are really cheap. You know, even like a couple of players that I didn't even mention, like Lonzo Ball, Spencer Dinwiddie, they're not going to be cheap either. So I do have another video coming up in the works where I talk about cheaper free agents that we can probably get for the vet minimum or something that is sort of in that same area. So stay tuned for that video. But yeah, and talking about Lonzo Ball, apparently the Pelicans are going to be very unlikely to match about any offer that is thrown at Lonzo Ball, any realistic offer that's thrown at Lonzo Ball, and the Bulls and Clippers are interested. Bro, I really think we should jump in that mix. If the Bulls and the Clippers are interested in Lonzo Ball, I think we should be also in the mix. I think Lonzo Ball is a good backup option if Kyle Lowry or Spencer Dinwiddie or one of these guards do not work out, because I think I really do think Lonzo Ball fits our team needs. I think he's a very good playmaker. He'll take the playmaking load off of Jimmy's hands. He's a very good defender for his position. His shooting mechanics have improved a lot. He can definitely shoot the 3 ball a lot better. It's just his aggressiveness that's the only thing that's holding him back from being an all-star in my opinion. I think he has tremendous potential, and I think he just has to find the right situation for him. New Orleans is definitely not the right situation for him because of the way they're playing him as a spot-up shooter. I think if he comes to Miami, it'd be a great fit. So I really think the Heat should be looking at Lonzo Ball more, but not as a main option, but as a backup option. Doug McDermott has also been someone that the Heat have been looking at. Now, this is going to be a little bit shorter. I think Doug McDermott could be an alternative for Duncan Robinson if he leaves, but if Duncan Robinson is staying on this team, and if the Heat match any or every offer for Duncan Robinson, Doug McDermott, I don't think the Heat should consider. I think it should be either or. But if Duncan Robinson does leave, Doug McDermott, I think shot 38% from 3 last year. I think that he would be a good fit, man. He also, I'm pretty sure, played with Jimmy. And Bobby Portis is another name that has been talked about by Heat fans. Now, this is the thing about Bobby Portis. I do not think we'll sign him and play him next to Bam. I think he'll be a backup center. What he is in Milwaukee right now. I don't think Spo will sign Bobby Portis to play him next to Bam. We all know that, or a lot of us know that Bam is probably naturally a 4, but I don't think in this day and age Spo will put Bam at the 4 and play a bigger guy at the 5. I think he'll go with Bam at the 5. So I think if we sign Bobby Portis, it will probably have to be if Dwayne Dedmon is gone. And I don't see that happening because Dwayne Dedmon impressed everybody with his play with the Heat last year. So a lot of decisions for the Heat to make as far as what position they want to address first. But first and foremost, the Olympics are right around the corner. The exhibition games are happening, and I'll be covering them and talking about the Heat performances that I've been seeing. So make sure you guys stay tuned for these next couple videos that I'm going to be putting out there. The cheap free agents one is definitely going to be on the horizon, so make sure y'all keep your eyes peeled for that. As usual, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new, smash that like button, and also turn your post notifications on so you guys do not miss a single video. And most importantly, comment down below everything that you guys want to comment down below. So I'll see y'all later as always. Peace.